Alright guys, it's been a while. Copper Cutlass here. I'm not going to do the whole selfie look at my ugly ass mug because my phone has a huge crack in it. A couple of things. We've been running our point series. I haven't really been doing much. I think I mentioned in one video I had operation, then I got fucking COVID, and just there's been a lot of stuff going on in life right now that has been a little tumultuous, if you will. Not bad, just a lot of the buildup of the last 2 years has just, as you can see, the Buick isn't here right now, and it's not done. I took it back to the shop. The fire hasn't been there. I'll be honest with you guys, I brought that car in thinking that that was what was going to put me on the right mental state to get back to where I wanted to be, because the last time I had a lot of fun in this garage was when I repainted this car. We did that over the winter, and it was very hectic in the shop. So long story short, the reason I'm out here today is, one, the last time I checked valve lash, I was going to do a video, but I'm like, it's just valve lash. But I developed a valve cover gasket leak. Apparently, you only get lucky once, because I was able to take these valve cover gaskets, or the valve covers, on and off for years. And then last year, I scrambled to get them together, so I stocked up on gaskets. I got those, I got intake gaskets, I got a fucking header gaskets, you name it. I stocked up on stuff. I even have a throttle cable if I need it. Random stuff breaks on cars like that. So the other big reason why I'm out here is because, last race, which will just be 2 weeks ago, almost a week and a half ago, we went back to the radials and the car hooked. And it was hot. It was in the upper 80s, but the car was running like 1180s. So, in the fall, I cannot wait. If everything holds together, this thing will go 1150s. We've done an 1154 60-foot time, so I know that there's going to be a big improvement there, because the best 60-foot time this car ever laid down was in 1159. So with an 1154 in okay weather, on a bias ply, that's good. But we went back to the radials because I wanted to see if the car would hook on it, and it did, and it hooks good. Now, the only other problem I developed was going into the burnout box. You have to wedge in, back up. I developed a clunk, so I don't know if it's the Heim joints wearing out on the top, or I broke a Heim joint, or I broke an anchor point. But it's Tuesday, and I have like 4 days before our next points race, and we're doing a camp out Saturday and a Sunday, so I have to be ready Friday night. So whatever it is that I got going on, I have to figure out tonight. The valve cover gasket is cakewalk. I can figure that out. I have only one side's leaking. I know my valve lash is good. So I'm going to try to, first of all, I'm going to take the valve cover off, let everything dry, and schmutz it and see if it'll stop. I got a few days to figure that out. But the big one being is if I need to order a Heim joint or if I need to weld something, I have to figure it out. So I'm going to shut this shit off, and then once I get under there, I'll show you guys what it looks like. I don't think I've done too many videos of actually underneath the car. It's kind of nice to have this thing back home, working on it here. I know at work I have a lift, but I kind of there's something about working at home I enjoy. Grab a beer, you guys can probably hear my wife and my sister-in-law in the background chit-chatting about bullshit. So just certain things about working in the garage I enjoy. But either way, Jerry, if you see this video, your hood is going to get started on soon. I feel bad. I think he finally got his engine in his car. A lot going on this summer. I lost the entire month of July between surgery and COVID and work. It's been crazy. So I'm full of excuses. I get it. But either way, guys, I won't bore you. I'm going to let you go. We'll add to this. All right, guys, let me crawl my ass down here. Ugh. All right, so we got our lights. Enough to at least show you. I do have a backup light. But on these IE bodies, that sounded weird. There's a couple of weak points. So let's get, so my clunk that I'm probably hearing is this. I have spherical ends here, and then I have a Heim joint in the front. And that front Heim joint is what has me worried because that was an Amazon buy. But I had to check it. There's no cracks. Everything's good. I checked my bolts. The lower control arm bolts were actually a little looser than they probably needed to be. So I gave them a little bit of a snug, and I double nutted them. Again, I snug and double nut on the upper ones here because I have the Southside Machine lift style bars, that Lakewood, they're Lakewood lift bars now. Up here I don't worry about it, but down here you want free motion. So obviously you guys see I still have an old school type, stock type sway bar, but it is not stock. It is actually was more. This was probably designed in the earlier days of like pro touring before people went to like an anti-roll bar at the top. So this thing actually helps the car kind of stay square. The springs I have are actually from a 69 442. I have an airbag. I don't use it. I check the bolts and the shocks. I have QA1s, single adjustables. If I can give you the best advice, go double adjustables. Mainly because since I have lift bars, compression does nothing. I need more control on the rebound because there's chassis separation. So the car doesn't really squat much. I mean, it does a little bit on the right side, which I can probably tighten it up with a few clicks, but really I'm not about to. So I checked the control arm points at the front as well. So on these A bodies, sorry if I'm moving around here where it is kind of an awkward spot. So like where the upper control arm mounts, you have to worry because once you start putting power, that's a weak area. I mean, you can literally tell it's pretty thin gauge stuff. So guys typically will brace that reinforcement. In some cases, they'll get to, I mean, if you're going to coilovers, you'll get rid of the spring perches. You will get rid of this whole tray. You will add a tube across the chassis, weld it in, add your anti-roll bar, go to coilovers, which I am set up for. JJ can show you all that. If you guys remember my buddy JJ, he's got all that fancy shit in his car. Obviously, I'm not utilizing any of that fancy shit, but the brackets are still there, so someday down the road, I'm set up. Thanks, JJ. So my biggest concern was, again, safety. If I had a cracked ear, if I had a Heim joint that was letting go. I think with the fact that I was driving it on the radial at the track, it bites very differently. It's not very giving. Where there as like a bias ply has a lot of wrinkle and squish to it. It didn't force the car to, because the rear end will shift side to side a little bit, and that's where you see cars having panhard bars, and probably having these bolts a little looser than I should have probably didn't help either. But again, this is the first time all season where I heard something that was off. And I moved the yoke, and it felt about the same as far as like a backlash. I don't think I could kill this rear end, so I'm not going to question it. JJ built this rear end, and I don't think I could ever kill this. I mean, he was hitting it with a big block, probably making north of 600 horsepower on a trans brake, running 10. I think he's running 10 almost 1040s. I think 1040s is his goal, but I mean he's deep into the 10s. He's like mid 10s in there. JJ, correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, another critical area is in the front on the lower control arm mounts. We're gonna do this real fast because since I already got the camera going and I got my lights and everything, I'm just gonna go ahead and crawl my dumbass up and walk over here and show you guys. So on these A bodies, another critical area to really worry about is right here. If you can gusset this, fully weld this, as you can see, I'm also double nutted here. If this is another area of concern. I'm sure a lot of guys who have dealt with A bodies from the Midwest or the Snow Belt I'm sure there's guys out there who follow me who have at least have had this ripped off. It happens. So inspect it. And this is why I do an inspection. And, you know, looking at my car right now, you can see this line of oil going down my headers. How can I explain this? I've had a leaky intake forever because I didn't mill it. And at this point, it's too late. So this is what happens when, so after the last round, I didn't bother checking or cleaning. I loaded it up, and then I drove it home, and then I actually drove and got gas. So this leak is what happens probably within about 8 miles. And this is where it shows you how little I drive the car, because it's become a race car. Because between rounds, I will not drip a goddamn thing of oil. But these are things that will get rectified when we take it out and freshen it up. I mean, we have the engine that's ready to go. I do have a bit of a transmission leak as well, but again, I religiously check between rounds. And I know it sounds reckless, but you know what, guys? I have never, ever, I don't think I've ever, there's been one time where I dripped a little bit of oil on the truck and I got yelled at. And then there was the one time they thought I dripped coolant, but it was actually, my overflow was full and there was a weep hole at the top and that little drop. I went up and I told them, hey, I emptied it. You guys want to check the car again? No big deal. I am more than willing to show the track personnel that we're good. But I've been racing this car pretty much as is the last, is it like 4 years now? 3.5 since I put this engine in. No issues, but we're getting at the tail end of our equipment that we have right now, except for the rear end. We do have the transmission with the Ultra Bell. Hopefully in the fall I can order a good converter. And this engine at some point in the fall will go in, but not until we run an 1150 with this. It is 1150 or bust. I guarantee it will do it. I think it will. I think. I got some people on board that really want to see it happen. So either way, that's what today was about. I have my gaskets out here. I'm going to pop off the valve cover and get things set up. I got a couple days to get things ready, but the main thing was to check if I needed to order anything or make some calls to find parts. That's what today was about. As we all know, there's parts shortages and shit going on. So either way, that's what this was about, because I have, as of now, it's Tuesday. I got 3 days to get stuff together. I'm loading up probably Friday night, heading out Saturday sometime around 10 or 11. We're not going to get to the track first thing in the morning because ultimately we're just testing on Saturday, and then we're running our points program on Sunday. So on that note, guys, again, it's the first time I've done a video in a long time. I got a bunch of new subscribers. Thank you, guys. You guys can follow me on Instagram as Copper Cutlass. I've been kind of lenient on a lot of things. Life has kind of gotten in the way and busy, but, if I will throw a shout out, I will say if you guys, one of the most interesting projects I've been following along would be from Wild Rose Garage. He's got Sergeant Stubby with a 455 in a Studebaker Lark. It's kind of really cool. I've been loosely following along, and I have to apologize. I wish I've been following a lot more, but I have. I have been following along. If you guys want to go check that out, I'm going to go ahead and give him a shout out on that, because I want to see that thing rip. I've become a big fan of that project, and I want to absolutely see it rip. So I'll let you guys go. Share, like, subscribe. See you later.